Well, let's say with the story, Iran has appointed a new supreme leader following the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei during recent US and Israeli strikes. His son, Mojtaba Khamenei, has now taken over leadership of the Islamic Republic as tensions in the region continue to escalate. We've roped in international relations analyst Brooks Spector. Mr. Spector, very good afternoon to you. So Mojtaba Khamenei has now succeeded his father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in those joint US-Israeli attacks. Just your reaction, firstly, to the latest development.
Well, good afternoon. Good to be with you. This is a name that has clearly not been foremost and well known in the West, and I had to look him up myself. He's in his late 50s, so he's as far as these things go, he's fairly young and presumably will be around for a while, other things being equal. He served as his father's chief of staff, or deputy chief of staff, rather. And his education is primarily along religious lines, and he has a reputation of being a hardliner, pretty much in the mold of his father. One curious moment is that the leadership of the country had taken a stand early on that leadership would not be hereditary, as it would have been with a king or an emperor or something like that. But here we are with the desk and the position passed along from father to son. Now, the father obviously didn't designate him. I mean, it was a committee of, 88 people from around the country, elders who made this decision. There were other people who were obviously being considered. But as it turned out, Mojtaba Khamenei is the man. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how well or how quickly or how effectively he seizes the levers of power, ranging from the Revolutionary Guard to the Basaji, the voluntary auxiliary of the Revolutionary Guard, the formal military, the civil service, and all of the dispersed military units, some of whom may be having trouble with communications with the center, who have been firing the rockets and the drones, and how well he can pull all of this together in very short order and figure out some way to meet with the demands of the United States and his own demands, mostly around things like the sanctions regime, the economic and financial sanctions, all while he's trying to run a country that is under attack. That's going to be extraordinarily interesting, important, and difficult to do, and we're all going to be watching it very carefully, I suspect.
Yeah, and I mean, the second question is really twofold, with a number of people saying that, you know, the younger Khamenei taking over could potentially, you know, indicate that the government has little desire to agree to a deal or negotiations in the short term with the other parties. We've also now seen in that report that we played before this interview, European leaders have, you know, been divided on their response to the conflict that has now entered its second week. But the EU saying that, you know, it seeks to play a prominent role in bringing about a negotiated settlement. So how might that role look like, do you think, and will it be enough?
Well, I think the only word we can use to describe all these different things moving around at the same time is fluid. I mean, the EU quite clearly wants to see an early end to it. If for no other reason, you just have to look at the price for petroleum today, and you understand why that is interesting. Besides all the other things, the expansion of the war, the devastation, the individuals being hurt, and so forth. The Chinese, of course, have advocated a peaceful solution, in part because they are very dependent on the petroleum and natural gas that comes through the Strait of Hormuz. And right now, there's nothing coming through the Strait of Hormuz. India, of course, is also interested in that way. And the Gulf states, the Arab Gulf states from Kuwait to Oman, including Saudi Arabia and all the others, they very clearly would like to see a deal because, they can argue plausibly that this is not even their fight and they're the ones who are getting kicked. As a result, there are obviously pressures towards settlement. The question then becomes, are the warring parties interested in a settlement, or are they interested in getting to the point where one or the other of them can say, we won, or we're victorious, or this is being settled on our terms and not yours? So that is how we're going to have to look at it over the next number of days, I suspect.
Yeah, fluid it is. Brooks, thank you so much for your time and, of course, your analysis. That is international relations analyst Brooks Spector there for us.